Hi, I'm Lillian, and I'm here with.
Jesse Posey.
Okay, so I just want to know, how has this con been?
This con has been really fun. I've been to a few. This is my third. Uh, and if I only was able to do Nostalgia Con for the rest of my life, I think I would be happy. The people putting it on are great, very professional, fun, seem like they're my age. All of the talent has been really cool. Some people that I'm seeing again for the second or third time, and the fans so far in this whole thing have been the best fans that I have experienced. So this has been a really good experience, and I'm really happy to be talking to you.
Same to you.
Yeah,
So we talk about nostalgia.
yeah.
What for you, when you see that word, what instantly pops into your head?
90s, 90s. I mean, I was born 1994, so I only caught the tail end of it. But I feel like the first 5 years of the 2000s, it was kind of like 90s were still kind of hanging on. The same shows were still happening, the same style was still happening, same music. So, like the early punk rock scene in the late 90s or the early 2000s, or the new metal scene like Korn and Limp Bizkit, um, Linkin Park, just the music videos and the sounds and the cartoons that were around that time. It's something that I always think of. And just, I don't know, the toys that I was playing with at the time that I still play with from time to time. It's just that. I don't know. It's just the sounds, the smells of like microwave meals, microwavable dinners. I don't know. My neighborhood growing up, the styles. I don't know. I feel like growing up, my dad was always like tucking his shirts into his jeans, which I feel like people don't tuck their shirts in anymore.
No.
So I don't know. Just that. Just I feel like if you were to look into a book from the '90s that had pictures and pop culture, that's like what runs through my head when I hear the word nostalgia.
Do you have any styles that you want to come back? Whether that's television styles, clothing styles, anything like that?
I think so. We grew up watching shows like or movies like American Pie, and their soundtracks were dope. It was Blink 182 and Sum 41 and um, uh, who else? I think Nora Jones. There was just a real like kind of yeah, and the humor. The humor was a little raunchier back then in a way that we can't really explore in these days. That's okay. But there was like an essence about it. We don't have to use the same words or terminology, but there was an essence of like this carefree kind of punk rock, um, just like free feeling that a lot of entertainers carry themselves with that I would love to see come back. And I think it is. I think there's a new version of it that sort of embodies the 90s version, and that's really cool to see. But I would love to be a part of that if I could.
Well, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, how did you get into acting? How did all of that even come about, especially with family and having family involved in this same industry?
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's funny. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because sometimes I do. You know, we as people are always in our heads. Fighting these negative thoughts, and sometimes I wonder if I deserve to be here.
Mm.
Sometimes I wonder if I deserve to have the acting career. Sometimes I wonder if I've earned it, and I think part of that comes from like yeah, my dad and my brother are actors and writers, and they've been doing it for a long time, and they kind of paved their own way. And sometimes I wonder if like part of it was handed to me, which isn't true. You always have to wherever you are, whoever you are, you got to climb your way to wherever you are, wherever you're going. And so initially, yeah, that's how I got into it. Is I got to watch these two great actors growing up in my own house, and I got to see how they do it and how they conduct themselves on sets and how they prepare for roles. Um, and I think I found out early on that like I didn't love it right away. It wasn't this like passion that I had from when I was born. I always admired actors and like what they do, and I did always want to do it, but it wasn't this like I'm going to be a star one day, or I'm going to be on Broadway one day, or I'm going to be on a billboard one day. I just thought like I want to do this. I want to be a part of it, and I think it wasn't until after I had a couple, good roles where I really fell in love with this, and so for that, I'm grateful that I got to walk through the door to see this world for what it is and to see myself in it. Um, and maybe I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it weren't for my dad or my brother doing what they do. So I'm very grateful for that. But I think I found my passion for it in it. I think the passion came later, which I think is okay too. I think it's okay to either find a new passion within your passion or to find a new direction in it or to fall out of love with it and then fall in love with it again, whatever your journey is. And I think that's what mine was.
What's like one piece of advice if somebody's not necessarily in a point where they are happy? What would you tell them if they needed to find something to make them happy?
Yeah, it's tough. Every person's different. Um, well, oh man, Ooh, that is tough. I think I think a lot of us, and I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think a lot of us have had happy moments in our lives. Whether you're 20 or 15 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, I think you can look back on at least one point in your life where you were genuinely, purely full of joy. And if you can remember what was happening in that time, who you were with, uh, what you were engaged in, what you were not engaged in, who you weren't with. I think if you kind of backtrack and do the math and find out what it was in that moment of your life that was bringing pure childlike joy, I think there's always value in exploring that and finding out what made you happy in that moment. And either trying to recreate it or trying to find a new version of it. Um, for me, I've always found that flow, that joy, that passion on a set, on acting or in acting, and I can't do that every day.
Mm.
Hopefully, one day I can, but it's not every day. But there's a feeling there. There's a flow, and it comes from being in the moment. I know that when I do that work, it puts me in the moment and it takes me out of my head where, sometimes there's negative thoughts. And so if I can kind of recreate that, if I don't have acting in the moment, I can recreate that with, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I do know. But I think that's a good tool is to go back to in your mind moments where you were happy and you did find pure joy and to try to recreate some version of that. um, Sometimes visualizing is a good tool. Sometimes imagining what it'd be like to be in this place where you want to be and then embodying it, feeling it, and that could like take you out of the bad headspace. There's many ways, and
Yeah.
sometimes you have to work a little hard to find it. But once you find it, you always got it, and you can always kind of go back to it. So something in there, I think.
Yeah. Well, great advice. Thank you so much for your time. You were
Yes.
incredible.
Oh, thank you so much, and you're incredible. You're
Thank
incredible at
you.
what you do, and I think you have a bright, bright, bright future in this. And I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to do this again with you
Thank
10
you.
years down the road
Yeah,
when you have a real
absolutely.
microphone in your hands
Yeah.
and a big time camera and some lights and whatever else comes with being a professional at this.
Absolutely.
So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course, that was great.